NCAA basketball totals for Wednesday, March 8th. March Madness is right around the corner. I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. Right now, we're in some conference tournaments. Got some really good matchups here. This is a segment for you new guys where we look at totals set by odds makers. We try to beat that line either over or under the total. Don't forget that we also have our NBA Live segment that goes on 4 o'clock Eastern. We do that Sunday through Thursday. You got to tune into that. That one's a lot of fun. Also checking out the totals and a lot of other stuff too, with guys commenting in. Maybe you can come in and give us some comments about what you like on the day and things like that. So anyways, we got two games on the totals today, and we're heading to the Pac-12 and the Big Ten for these two matchups, and which look at the totals. I think there's a little bit of value. Right now, it's a little bit tough, I think, to grab some value because we have a lot of matchups where teams have already played each other twice. So the odds makers kind of have all the numbers and all the statistics, so they can make the lines really tight. And it's not always easy to find some value. So every play I'm making here is just one unit. We've had a good season with NCAA hoops on the totals. Kind of a little bit hot and cold this last week, but overall good percentages, and we can't complain. So let's go ahead and let's talk about these two games I got going on today, and as well, don't forget also sbrpicks.com. Sportsbook Review, our Facebook page. You got to check that one out as well. All sorts of good information on there. And our main web page, sportsbookreview.com. We got all the sportsbook on there, sign-up bonuses. You got to check it out. All right, so the first game we got up here, we're going to look at, what's the order I want to go here? Let's go ahead and let's take a look at Nebraska and Penn State. That's the first one we're going to look at. Right now, odds makers have it at 141.5, and I'm going under this total. Now, they played to an 82-66 final. They actually only met up just once this season, and that was Nebraska shellacking them at home. But when we look at that game, what I like is the fact it wasn't really a fast-tempo game, and Penn State did not shoot particularly well, but Nebraska shot lights out. They shot 55% overall. They shot 30% from distance, but the tempo overall was not really that fast, and I have a hard time believing now they're going to get over this 141.5 as well. That game set by odds makers, 141.5. They went over the total, by over 7 points, but still they've settled down, or the odds makers have settled on this number for this next matchup. So I think they like the fact that where this game's going to end up. I think the defenses are going to come to play. Conference tournaments, every team wants to advance to make if they kind of know. I think some of these teams know they can't win the tournament unless some things really, really go their way, but they want to make a good showing in case they get a chance to get an at-large berth here with Penn State and Nebraska. They have to win the tournament. They're not going to win the Big Ten championship, but they're two pretty well-coached teams. And what I like also is the fact that they can't shoot very well. When we look at their statistics, you're talking about two of the poorer shooting teams in the country overall, percentage-wise. You're talking about a Penn State team that shoots 41.8% from the floor. That almost ranks 300th in the country. Nebraska, they're even worse, 41.7%. So you're talking about two teams, well, their rankings 293 and 296 as far as shooting from the floor percentage-wise on the season. Their overall scoring is not that bad, with Penn State 72 points, Nebraska 70. Defensively, they're not that great either, but their defensive numbers, for the most part, are better than their offensive numbers, across the board, especially Penn State. They actually play a little bit of defense. They're allowing opponents to shoot just 43% from the floor. Nebraska, not great at 45%, but still, the way this matchup, and the way the pace is going to work out when we have, a Penn State team and a Nebraska team that go pretty well tempo, but they don't allow a lot of tempo. I just don't see them getting over the 41.5. I just don't think they're going to be able to shoot the ball well enough. So, they might get hot and they might get up and down. They might go over this total, but I think the value is on the under. So I'm going back under the total with Penn State and Nebraska. Okay, the next one up, we're going the other way. We got Stanford and Arizona State out of the Pac-12, and that is at 150. And we're going to go over this total. I got it at 150, but you want to check that line and see where it moves. Right now, let me double check that line real quick because I just saw something that says that might be off. And this is kind of a little bit of a live segment right now, but I want to make sure I got this number locked in correctly for you guys. Otherwise, that would be bad. Yeah, 150. I got a 150. So I'm going to go ahead and back over this total. Now, they've met up a couple times this year, a real track meet earlier in the season where they scored a ton of points. Their latest matchup, though, at Arizona State was a 75-69 final in which Arizona State won. This should be one of the better games of the day as far as matchups are concerned. What I like in that contest, though, was the fact that Stanford did not shoot well, but they're actually a pretty good percentage-wise scoring team, but they got up 68 attempts. They really got up tempo. Arizona State surprisingly did not, just 52 attempts, but they have been, under Hurley, they've been a really up-tempo team all season. I mean, take a look at these stats here as I go ahead and pull them up. Again, we're liking over the 150 in this matchup with Stanford and Arizona State. Stanford recently has really started to pick up the tempo and the scoring, but at Arizona State, they did not get up that many attempts in that matchup, but on the season, they're averaging 62.2 attempts per game. That ranks 24th in the country. I mean, they really can get up and down defensively. On the other side, they're poor. They rank outside the top 300 teams in almost every major defensive category, including opponent shooting efficiency, opponent overall shooting percentage, and opponent two-point shooting percentage, and opponent effective field goal percentage. So really not a good job by the Arizona State defense. And I look for Stanford to score. Stanford's been scoring pretty well, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Although they're averaging only 68.8 points per game, we're going to take a closer look at them recently, and they're not a bad shooting team. They shoot about 44% from the floor. Arizona State can score also, despite their bad defensive numbers. They're shooting almost 44% from the floor. They rank in the better part of the country in shooting efficiency and effective field goal percentage. They're shooting almost 37% from distance. Stanford's okay, but the part where they do lack is defending from beyond the arc. They allow opponents to shoot over 38%, and that's Arizona State's wheelhouse. So they might be able to, go ahead and put up. I mean, it's their wheelhouse. I mean, they're 10th in the country in three-pointers made per game, so they'd like to shoot the three. I think they're going to be able to knock some down tonight to get us over this 150. Back to what I want to mention about Stanford. Now, earlier in the year, they were really kind of a slow-tempo team, didn't put up a lot of points. But let's look at some of their finals over the last few games here. They had a 163 final total together versus their last matchup was against Utah, at Utah, and they did not play well. But Utah is a pretty decent team, and that was on the road, where that game ended up at 126. But prior to that, they had a 163 final versus Colorado. They had the 148 final versus Oregon. They had, against Oregon State, surprisingly enough, they had a 145 final. That's a really slow Oregon State team. Against Cal, again, they had a 141 final, but California, again, a slow defensive team. They put up 79 versus Oregon State, 73 versus California, and they're slow tempo teams. Then we get back to that Arizona State team. So my point is this, and Stanford also scored 73 versus Oregon, 72 versus Colorado. They had a bad game against Utah, but I believe they bounced back against a poor defensive team. The worst defensive team in the Pac-12 is Arizona State. So look for Stanford to score a lot. They can put up some points, is what I'm saying recently. So look for them to score, and look for Arizona State to be able to score as well. Pretty fast-paced team that can put up some points. That's it. All right, let's break that down one more time. We got Nebraska and Penn State. We're going under the total 141.5, and we got Stanford, Arizona over the 150. Those are our two NCAA picks on the totals. Don't forget to check out our NBA Live segment, and I wish you luck on your picks today.
We hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, don't miss out on the best basketball betting content available on YouTube. Click our logo button on the bottom left to subscribe. And as always, guys, give us a like and drop your comments below because we want to hear from you. Visit our website to take advantage of all our free products.